finish this project. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using this new tool called the Art History Brush, and you're going to take your finished smudge painting like this right here, or I'll zoom in one, and you're going to transform it into something really special like this right here. How we do that is we're going to be importing brushes similar to how we did for the Smudge brush. I have this set up here from Texture Labs. They're a really cool website. If you want to check them out, go to Texture Labs. You'll like them. A lot of really cool tutorials. I learned this one from them, so got to give them a shout out. And let's get started by just importing that. I'm going to delete this layer and rebuild it with you all right now. So let's delete that and hit yes. First things that we're going to do, like I said, is we're going to import these brushes. So if you want to, select the brush tool. It's just the easiest way to get to it. Right here is the brush tool. B is the hotkey for that. Go up to where my arrow is right now by this guy here. Click this to get your menu. If it's really small, you can start where I am right here, where my cursor is, and you can click and drag and expand that out. What you're going to look for again, this should all be a recap from earlier, is this cogwheel up here where my cursor is now. Click that, and you're looking for import brushes, ... right there. Go ahead and choose import brushes. Once you do, you're probably going to go to your desktop. That's probably where I'll have asked you to save it, and you're looking again for a Texture Lab oil paint right there, and then you can go ahead and hit open. After you do, you should notice that this opens right here, and if you open the folder, you will find 5 brushes: large, noodles, medium, small, and fine. We're going to be working in that order in just a little bit. So click off of that by just clicking up here where it says Adobe Photoshop 2021. We've got to do something with our layers right now. I want you to select every single layer that we have, all the way from the top of Edge Touch-Up all the way down to the bottom that says Background. How to do that? Click on Edge Touch-Up. Again, you can tell it's selected because of the light gray. Hold down the Shift key and click Background. And then you'll see that they all light up like that. While they're all lit up, we're going to duplicate this. So you can click and drag it either to the new layer icon, or you could 2-finger click, and you're looking for an option called Duplicate Layers. There it is. Oops, sorry, it's towards the top. Let me do that again. 2-finger click and Duplicate Layers right here. Once you go ahead and do that, you'll see that it will, let's just hit OK, and you'll see another set of copies right there. All right, once they're all copied, we want to merge them together, and the way to do that is hold down the Command key and hit E as in elephant, and you'll see they all get smashed into one. So we are good to go on that front. Now we're going to double click on this new one here, and we're going to call this Art History. I know it's not Art History, but that's the name of the brush that we're using. And then you can hit enter. All right, so now everything has become one. You can even, if you want to, you can eyeball out everything else. I'm going to leave them shown because this is a full layer. Doesn't matter. Just make sure that you have the Art History brush selected. I'm also going to go ahead and push back my screen since I don't need to show my desktop anymore. The tool that you're looking for is the Art History brush. It is over here where I'm currently selected, about halfway down your tools. The hotkey for this tool is Y as in yak. So once the tool is selected, if you go up here to your brush presets where I am, you open up your big window. Like I said, these are our brushes. We imported the dry paintbrush one for earlier with the smudge tool, and we're going to use Texture Labs for this one. So expand that, and we're going to start here with the large brush right here. So go ahead and double click that. Now, you'll notice that it won't work right now. That's weird, right? That's because the Art History brush requires us to do something else. Over here is your History tool. See this? It's this little guy here. It should be next to Layers. If it's not, double check this by going to Window, and then you'll find History. That will bring it up. I'm not going to click that because mine's already open, but if you're lost, this would be what you want to do. All right, so after my history is open, I'm going to go to my most recent change, which looks like the name change. I'm going to click on this little sidebar guy right there. See how I click that and then the Art History brush appeared there? Now it should work because now it's set and it will kind of like brush from this point in time in the history of the project. That's why it's called the History brush. So we can close the History window right here to collapse it. And now we're ready to begin. I recommend that you actually make this brush probably bigger than what it is. There's 2 ways that you can increase and decrease brush size. So the left bracket, the one right by the P key, if you tap that, it'll make the brush smaller. If you tap the right bracket, it'll make it bigger. I'm going to go pretty big. My size is 1300 to be exact here. And what I'm going to do is just slowly move around the painting. I don't want to go too slow or too fast, so on the slower end of things. And you can re-click too if you want to as you're going, but you want to cover everything to where it really doesn't make sense. Like you might see some of the color, but like it's generally pretty lost. And like I said, sometimes like tap clicking gives you cooler results too. So there we go, did some tap clicking, and we look pretty good. All right, so now what you can do is click with 2 fingers at the same time, and you will get this window that pops up right away. We're gonna hop over to Noodles, which is the number 2 brush, so double click on Noodles. My brush is pretty small right off the bat, so I'm gonna tap this thing, make it a little bit bigger, and I'm gonna zoom in once. I wanna stay around the face for Noodles, and I just kinda want you guys to draw over the face. And you'll see that it does bring it back. Also draw over the hair in this point, and you'll see the hair start to come back in as well. And what you can do then is decrease the Noodle Brush a little bit with a few of those left bracket taps, and then go back over it again, and you'll start to see that it really starts to bring it in more detail. I'm going to decrease even further and bring back a little bit more hair with the noodles. I don't recommend that you go over too much of the shirt or neck or any other parts of the body with noodles. Really just stay with a little bit of the face and the hair. Then click with 2 fingers, and we're going to move our way to the medium brush here. I'm going to start a little bit bigger than normal, so right up here, and I'm going to go around the shirt. And hopefully what I'm going to do, maybe I'll make it a little smaller, is just do a little bit of refinery around his shirt and his neck right now is what I really want to hit up, just to give them a little bit more detail. I made the brush a little bit smaller here as I go around the neck, and that should bring in some detail for us around there. Maybe make it a little bit bigger when I go back to his arm and try to build his arm back in because we lost that from before. So I'm just drawing over until slowly you'll see it take form again. Decrease it a little bit. In here, if they have arms, legs, or any other body appendages, this would be your time to slowly bring that back by just kind of drawing this brush over it. And down we go. Looking pretty good. All right, now I'm going to click again with 2 fingers, and we are going to go to the small brush. With that one, I'm going to zoom in on the face. You need to see some detail of the face for the small brush. I'm going to go over the eyes here and just kind of continuously draw over it. Do that on this eye here. I'm going to even make the brush smaller. Let it settle in. And the lips. Maybe I'll even make it a little bit bigger here just to get some of this going. There we go. Yep, now it's starting to take form. You might have to make this brush a little bit bigger than you probably thought to see some of this detail take form. Don't worry yet. I know it's still looking a little rough. I'm going to go down here, bring in his goatee a little bit with this brush. Now we got the last one. Fine. I've always had to make this one a little bit bigger from the starting point of where this brush begins. But now if you brush over the eyes, you should really start to see an effect of this eye pop. There we go. And it might be even medium. Go back to the medium brush over these eyes just to bring them in a little bit more. But again, we want the detail around the eyes and the nose. I'm going to draw over the nose. You'll start to see his nostrils come into play. There we go. And the mouth right here. Bring that in so I can get a little bit more detail. You know, the facial features are where the focal points. That's where people look. You probably want them a little bit more detailed than the rest of the painting. And voila. We go down here to the beard a little bit, bring a little bit of that detail in with this fine brush. Look at that cheek. And there we go. So, now that we have this set, though, we are going to be incorporating this into your actual painting. So when you have the art history layer selected, check up here. Again, I have it selected. See where it says opacity at 100% right here? Click that, and you're going to move this drop-down arrow to anywhere between, say, 50 on the low end, or like 40 maybe on the low end, and I would say like 75 on the high end. I'm going to go somewhere around 65 here, and here is the before of our smudge painting. There is the after of adding that little effect on top that really does a lot and gives you a nice kind of painter-like texture. I think this will look really, really cool when it prints. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and save this to the computer, and to do that, because you're going to be submitting this file, you're going to go up to the top where it says File, and you're looking for Save As, where you can go ahead and do a quick save, and that way it just gets that settled in. Then you can go ahead and do Save As. Afterwards, it's still saving for me. I had to wait. Okay, File, Save As. You're going to be looking for Save on your computer. Yours might not be right here where mine is. It might be down in the bottom left, because if you're on the cloud documents like I am, you'll see it on your computer down here in the bottom left. Hit that. choose on your computer where you want to change this. I want you to throw this directly to the desktop. So where should say desktop, and the name should be good right here. So you can go ahead and hit OK to that, hit save, hit OK to whatever else comes up. Doesn't matter. It's all default settings for us. I'm going to minimize Photoshop here once the saving is done. Good. And let's double check the file's there. Yes, there it is. So this is the file that we're going to be uploading to Schoology so I can get these nice prints done for you guys.